After taking a break from the moe scene to cleanse my desensitized brain, developer SME has managed to bring me back with their newest game, Harem Kingdom. It doubles down on the developer's understanding of this fandom with a fantasy presentation of concubines and some hysterical character writing. As a game that moves the bar in no direction, its writing is strong enough to hold your attention during every moment. Harem Kingdom sets up our nameable main protagonist as a loser, or at least that's how his childhood friend Hikari would describe him. In an instant, you could probably guess how things will progress, but that's not really the point of the story. The prologue is short in terms of other visual novels from this team, with 5 dateable heroines, but it uses the time wisely to set a foundation for each of their personalities. Regardless of which route you end up on, as the name suggests, this is a harem game, so you'll be hanging out with all the girls no matter what. So the premise is simple. The protagonist gets randomly whisked off to a fantasy world where it's discovered that our loser is actually the lost child of the king and the now ruler of this world, Paulretta. Of course, everything falls into place after that for the harem hijinks to begin. The idea is that the new ruler will bring balance to the world, but this magic requires sex to take effect, as it takes the life energy from the user. The character building is limited to the prologue as the story focuses more on its plot in the later portions, but that's fine because the comedic tone takes the spotlight. As the protagonist falls into his royal duties, the girls will inevitably throw themselves at him. However, I found that Hikari's route held the most significant laughs as they do act like best friends. In fact, SME has some of the best understandings of otaku culture and tropes that they use to give readers every bit of what they want and more. The writer never seems to miss a beat. It's crude, lewd, and full of attitude, but I can't deny that I was laughing during most scenes. Players can choose which character they like to spend time with across the game by visiting their room. It forces you to mix things up at some point, but these scenes are unique and used to get you closer to the cast. In all honesty, if you've gotten this far into the game, then you'll probably stick around through the end. The prologue has its way of seeding out any uninterested parties with some of the most outlandish character interactions and story bits. Following these scenes, you can choose which kind of harem you want. From reverse to troll, you get 5 choices of how you want this whole experience to end. I was surprised by these, as it does change the dynamics of the characters just a bit. It doesn't end up mattering what personality type they are. During these scenes, everyone just kind of blends into one character with allegiance only to the protagonist. I'm sure the whole thing would have been more believable if the main protagonist had an ounce of intelligence. Still, I have to remember I'm playing a fantasy visual novel called Harem Kingdom, so I must consider the audience. The art of Harem Kingdom is probably the best of SME-developed games. The characters are expressive and animated even with static illustrations. There are several costume changes and plenty of funny facial expressions shown by the cast. Further, there are a lot of age scenes in this game. Each girl receives a few dedicated scenes, but most of the acts happen in groups. And if you consider the options for what kind of harem you want, there's a little bit for everyone in the vanilla sense. The UI is something I'd like to point out, as SME makes navigation simple to access backlogs and various systems. The font can be customized as well, with plenty of choices and styles to get that perfect presentation. Voice acting is also well done by the heroine cast, and this is one title where I'm glad the main protagonist doesn't have a voice because he can be pretty annoying. Harem Kingdom has some of the best comedic writing of any moe available. It takes familiar tropes and presents them in a hysterical way that only a group of writers who truly understand their audience can produce. The loser protagonist angle does hurt the experience, but this is undoubtedly the ultimate fan service for those who need the legendary harem route to be an entire game. NoisyPixel is giving Harem Kingdom an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. NoisyPixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
NoisyPixel.